American. This is Darren McDuffie, affectionately known as the Phat-Man, helping you become perfectly healthy and toned. And today I'm going to be doing another episode of A Man, a Pan, and a Plan. And I'm going to be teaching you how to make breakfast pizza. So this is easy. For those of you who've seen my other video on the paleo pizza, I'm actually going to be doing a derivative of the crust. So we're going to be making a new crust, and you can use this for the paleo pizza as well. I know when I started, I didn't know much about gluten-free, and now I'm learning a lot more about gluten-free stuff. And I think I started about 2 years ago going gluten-free. So I found another way again to make the pizza. So just pay attention. And we're going to break this video down into segments. First, we're going to make the crust, and then I'm going to show you how to do the ingredients. So the video might get kind of long, but hey, you know, you want to learn how to make breakfast pizza and want to learn how to make healthier choices, then stick with us. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. Well, the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to explain the ingredients to you. So what we're going to be using is 1 cup of almond flour, which you see, our almond meal, which you see, arrowroot powder. You know, some of you might be new to arrowroot powder. Our arrowroot powder is made from a tropical plant, and it's also it's a starch. And I'll just tell you a quick funny story. I used this to make gravy, gluten-free gravy, for Thanksgiving, this past Thanksgiving, and I put a lot of it in it to thicken it up, and it actually ended up being a mess. So you don't want to use too much arrowroot flour, but if you're a gluten-free person and you like gravy in your house like we do, then you can use this to thicken up your gravy as well. All right, so we got the almond flour, we have the arrowroot, we're going to have 3 eggs, and then we're going to have salt, and this is honey. This is honey that we got straight from someone here in the Fort Lauderdale area that has their own bee farm. So, you know, always make sure you get raw honey. A lot of the honey that's in the store is not, it's not really good honey or raw honey. So make sure you get that. Now, all right, so what we're going to do, and you can see I have my pizza pan here, and I also have parchment paper. Don't use aluminum foil. I did a video some time ago about Alzheimer's patient. Aluminum foil has been found in the brains of Alzheimer's patients, and I know growing up we wrapped a lot of things in aluminum foil, and I know my mother used to cook in it. I know people, when they do cookouts, they tend to cook with aluminum foil, but you can also just get by with parchment paper, and it's relatively cheap in your local store. So all right, so let's get started. Let's get this thing cracking. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put the dry ingredients in, the 1 cup of almond flour, and I'll list the ingredients as we go along. So that's 1 cup, and then 3/4 cup of arrowroot. That's in there, and then you're going to get, and I think I forgot an ingredient here. You're going to get 4 tablespoons rather of oil, and you can use olive oil, you can use coconut oil. I've already melted olive oil on the stove, so I'll be putting that in here in a few. So we're going to go ahead and start getting in the wet ingredients. So that's the egg. Oops, that would only happen on video. That's the 3 eggs. Let me get a paper towel here to wipe my hand. I can't stand getting eggs on my hand. All right. So we got our 3 eggs. We have, so let's get this stuff out of the way. Then we're going to have our 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. That's 1. That's 2. And all I did was take coconut oil and place it in the pan and let it warm on the stove. And I put a lot in there in the solid form, and then what you can do is you can just pour it back into your glass or your bottle, you know, if you make a little bit too much of it. So that's the 4 tablespoons of coconut oil. And we're going to do 1 teaspoon of honey. So I got a half teaspoon. A half and a half makes a whole. So that's 1, and that's 2. And a teaspoon, I mean, the honey is just going to sweeten the crust up a little bit for us. If you want to use stevia, you can use stevia or any other natural sweetener that you want to use. So that's it for the honey. Let me wash this off really, really quick. Because I'm going to use salt. So that. So we need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And then, as a special ingredient, I know my girlfriend Robin uses Italian seasoning just to give the pizza a little bit of extra pizzazz. So I'm going to use a little bit of Italian seasoning, and we're going to actually put this on top of the pizza as well when the crust forms, and I'll show you that. Alright, so you can be generous with it. So that's it. And then, let me clean my area up here. Then what I'm going to do is whisk it. So you put all the ingredients in together. I know you're probably saying, how the hell is he going to make a crust out of that? But we'll show you here in a few. So you want to make sure you get this in really, whisk this really good. And you can use a spoon. I'm just having to use a whisk. Or happen to be using a whisk, rather. Alright, I don't know if you can see that. See how it's mixing up? It's pretty good. And actually, you're probably going to actually need a spoon as well. So I'll show you that step here next. So I want to make sure I get it really good. And you're probably going to say, how is the crust going to form off of that? So now what I want to do is I want to I have a pizza pan under here. That'll be good if you can get you a pizza pan which makes it round. So what I'm going to do is take this, pour it here in the middle. Spoon, because I need that. And get out as much as you can with this. Alright. So I got Robin behind the camera, and what you're going to do is just go from the middle and spread it out and make it as circular as you can. And don't stress over this. You know, it's no perfect way to do it. Actually, Robin does it a little bit better than I do it, but hey, it's all good. You know, a lot of people try to be perfect with things. I just do them. All right, so as you can see, I'm just spreading it out to where it comes to be a circle, and the pan will help you form that circle. let me see if I can go back to my basketball playing days and use my left hand. So I won't cut ramen off with the camera. Alright, so I think that's about as good as I'm going to get with this crust here. What do you think, Robin?
I think it's pretty good.
Alright, so there we go. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the oven on 350 and I'm going to bake this for 15 minutes. If you looked at the Paleo Pizza one, it was the same. It was 350, and our oven does a little bit of a preheat. So it's going to preheat for 5 minutes, 6 minutes or so. It said 6. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that in, and then I'll show you how the crust looks when it comes out.
And you bake it for 15 minutes.
And bake it for 15 minutes. All right, so I'll pop it in for 15 minutes. I'll bring it back out, and then you'll get to see that. So I'll see you soon. All right, so you can see what the crust looks like. So now we're going, it doesn't look like much right now. It doesn't really look like a pizza. But we're going to go ahead and put on all the fixings, and then you'll see what it actually looks like at the end. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to add tomato sauce. So I just take it and then put it in the middle and spread it out from the middle.
And this is Eden organic tomato sauce, which is in a can, but they are known for using BPA-free cans. So this is why we choose that, if you don't have time to make your own homemade sauce.
Yep.
And one can usually can make 2 to 3, even 4 pizzas, depending on how saucy you like it. And we usually put it in a glass container. We don't keep it in the can.
Alright, so I got a little bit. I like to take it all the way out to the edge. So I know you YouTube jokers like to say something about how you spread this, but there's no perfect way to spread it. Alright, so I'm done with that. The next thing I'm going to do is I actually, while the crust was baking, what I did was I scrambled some eggs. So you want to scramble your eggs hard. For those of you who are not familiar with those terms, it just means that to get all of the water out of the actual egg, so it'll be easy to work with. That's what it means to scramble it hard. So what I'm going to do is just take the eggs and, for a lack of a better word, I'm just going to dump them on there, and then I will spread them out. Take the egg, spread it out. And also remember that when you do the eggs, you want to take your spatula and kind of chop them up really, really fine. Don't leave the egg in a lot of clumps. So I'm going a little overboard here. Trying to Alright, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to add sausage. So you can just get your favorite sausage. One of my favorite sausages is the chicken apple sausage from a company called Applegate Farms. But this isn't that sausage. This is actually called, what is it called, Fresco? Or something like that?
Fresco country sausage, and it's chicken sausage actually, since we don't eat pork. But you can choose whatever sausage you like, or if you want to add more meat, you can put bacon. You just have to fry the bacon first, crumble it up. You can put basically any kind of meat you want.
Yeah, you can add anything that you want to. If you don't want to, have any more meat than, eggs or protein, then you can actually, add some vegetables. If you want to just do some bell peppers or something like that, that's always good.
We also usually add onions and peppers, sometimes even mushrooms, but we want to make it simple this time. It's a protein pizza.
All right, so I'm going to cut the camera off just very briefly while I do this, and then I'll come back and then show you, the cheese. We actually add cheese to it as well. So, hey, we're back. So you can see this is like a meat lover's protein pizza here. And what I'm going to do is top it off with my secret topping. This is Adaya. I don't know how to actually pronounce this, but it's actually a dairy-free cheese. It's made out of tapioca. So you can use this if you want to use raw cheese. I know at our favorite organics place they sell raw cheese. We tend to just use this because we have a dairy allergy. But actually, the raw cheese doesn't really bother me. So that's the thing. If you think that cheese bothers you, you can probably tolerate raw cheese. But what I'm going to do now is just take the cheese, drop it over. This is a great thing for you to make. If you're one of those people who just want to grab a donut in the morning, you could make this over the weekend and slice it and then take this to work, or just while you're getting dressed in the morning for work, you can actually just put this in, if you have a convection oven, a small convection oven, or just your regular oven, just put it in, heat it up, and then you got a healthy breakfast. So, think about that. A lot of times I know people get a bit suspect to eating healthy because they tend to not have time, and then what they do is they go and grab a donut, or they go and grab a pastry, and those things are not healthy for you at all. It's just loading your body up with sugar and a lot of chemicals, and you don't really want to do that. So, all right, so I think that that's enough cheese here. Now, what I'm going to do is pop this back in the oven for another 15 minutes to let the cheese melt, let it get all of that goodness. But before I do that, I'm going to actually add some more Italian seasoning. And this is optional. You can do this, or you don't have to do this. It's up to you. But it does give it a little bit of a better flavor. So, got that, and then I'm actually going to add just a little bit of salt. And if you're a big salt person, I am not a big salt person, but I do like to taste my food, and this is actually real salt. This is what you want to be using, not that old table salt, regular table salt out there that's been bleached. So you want to use something that's a real salt, or a Himalayan salt. All right, so there we go. Now, I'm going to pop this back in the oven for 15 minutes. And when it comes out, I'll cut it up and let you see how it looks, and then we'll say our goodbyes. So I am going to put this in the oven for 15 minutes. And when you see me again, I will have my breakfast pizza, and I hope you will have yours too. Hey, what's cracking? We're back, and I pulled the pizza out so you can see how it looks. I'm going to go ahead and get my pizza cutter here and cut this baby up, and then we're going to enjoy us some breakfast pizza. So there you go. You have all the ingredients. It's been Darren McDuffie, affectionately known as the Phat-Man, helping you become perfectly healthy and toned. And you've just enjoyed another episode of A Man, a Pan, and a Plan. And for this video, leave me some comments. Let me know what you think if you tried it. If you are not gluten-free and you want to go gluten-free, just leave me some comments on that as well. And also look for some big changes on my channel. I'm going to start changing the channel and doing some more things by way of interviews and things of that nature. So again, Darren McDuffie, affectionately known as the Phat-Man, helping you become perfectly healthy and toned. And I'll see you on the next video.